The air was thick with anticipation as Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy stepped onto American soil. His mission to secure continued support from the United States in the face of ongoing Russian aggression. What transpired, however, was a diplomatic debacle that sent shockwaves across the globe. Instead of warm reassurances, Zelenskyy was met with a public dressing down from former US President Donald Trump. The world watched in astonishment as the fragile alliance between the two nations teetered on the brink. Zelenskyy's visit to Washington was intended to reinforce the critical partnership between the US and Ukraine. Since the outbreak of the war, the United States had poured billions of dollars in aid into Ukraine, becoming a lifeline for the embattled nation. However, the meeting exposed deep fissures in this alliance, revealing a relationship strained by mistrust and conflicting agendas. At the heart of the discord was Trump's demand for repayment of US aid. Trump, known for his transactional approach to foreign policy, insisted that Ukraine reimburse the US for the billions in military and financial assistance provided since the war began. He argued that Ukraine had overplayed its hand and needed to show more gratitude for US support. The meeting was a stark reminder of the shifting geopolitical landscape. Trump's confrontational approach to Zelenskyy underscored his America First worldview, where national interests often trumped traditional alliances. The meeting left many wondering if this signaled a broader retreat by the US from its role as a global leader. The tension in the room was palpable as Trump launched into a tirade against Zelenskyy. He accused the Ukrainian president of being ungrateful for US support and of jeopardizing global security by not ceding to Russia's demands. Trump's anger was fueled by a proposed minerals deal that fell apart just hours before the meeting. The deal, which would have granted the US access to Ukraine's vast reserves of rare earth minerals, was seen as a key bargaining chip by the Trump administration. These minerals are crucial for the production of advanced technologies, and securing access to them has become a strategic priority for the US. Trump believed that the deal would not only benefit the US economically, but also give him leverage over China, which currently dominates the rare earth minerals market. Adding fuel to the fire, Zelenskyy came to Washington seeking ironclad security guarantees from the United States. He argued that Ukraine, as a frontline state facing Russian aggression, needed clear assurances of US military support in case of further escalation. However, Trump, wary of being drawn into another protracted conflict, was reluctant to make such commitments. The collapse of the minerals deal and the disagreement over security guarantees soured the atmosphere of the meeting, leaving both sides frustrated and further apart than ever. It became clear that what was supposed to be a routine meeting between allies had transformed into a high-stakes power struggle with potentially disastrous consequences. Despite the tense atmosphere, Zelenskyy pressed on, making an impassioned plea for continued US support. He reminded Trump of the shared values that bound their two nations together, and warned that a Russian victory in Ukraine would embolden authoritarian regimes around the world. He argued that supporting Ukraine was not just about defending a single country, but about safeguarding the principles of democracy and freedom. The world watched with bated breath as the drama unfolded in Washington. European leaders, already unnerved by Trump's previous pronouncements on NATO and his perceived affinity for Vladimir Putin, were quick to condemn the former president's behavior. French President Emmanuel Macron, in a thinly veiled jab at Trump, declared that appeasement is never the answer. Across the Atlantic, European capitals were ablaze with activity as leaders scrambled to coordinate their response. Emergency summits were convened, and statements of solidarity with Ukraine poured in from across the continent. The Eiffel Tower, in a show of support, was illuminated with the blue and yellow colors of the Ukrainian flag. The fallout from the Trump-Zelenskyy meeting continues to reverberate across the global stage. The diplomatic row has cast a long shadow over US-Ukraine relations, leaving many to wonder if the partnership can recover from this very public display of discord. In Moscow, Russian officials were undoubtedly pleased by the spectacle. The Kremlin has long sought to sow discord between the US and its allies, and the breakdown of the US-Ukraine relationship plays directly into Putin's hands. Russian state media predictably seized on the meeting as evidence of American decline and Western disunity. Beyond the immediate crisis, the events in Washington raise profound questions about the future of global order. Trump's transactional approach to foreign policy, his disdain for multilateralism, and his willingness to undermine democratic norms have shaken the foundations of the post-World War II international system. As the world grapples with the implications of this diplomatic debacle, one thing is certain: the stakes could not be higher. The future of Ukraine, the stability of Europe, and the credibility of the US-led world order hang in the balance.